Hello and welcome to Coldwind Reviews. Today we'll be talking about how to improve performance in Conan Exiles. When you look at a huge base, what happens usually? You get some frame drops, stuttering, maybe a bit of lag.
Screen stuttering is an issue caused by irregular delays between the graphics processing unit, the GPU, and the image on your display. When dealing with online screen stuttering, the game will feel slow, appear laggy, and it will skip frames.
But why does this happen? There is a symbiotic relationship between the performance your computer can produce and the performance required by the game you're playing. So what happens if you want to build a huge base but want to keep your graphics high and you don't have the latest, greatest computer? One of the solutions I found is that you have to play a bit with the view distance. Even if your view distance is very high, you can still take advantage of it if you don't put too much in your field of view. How do you do this? Build skyscrapers.
The further you can see in any game, the more performance will be required by your computer, because it will have to calculate objects and AI at a distance. And this applies even more so on anything that's closer to your immediate field of view. When you're on the ground, your PC has to generate all the landscapes, trees, water, AI, motion, and particle effects. And it has to do this even if you don't add anything to the world. Even if you don't build one foundation block, your PC is still at hard work. So why would it be good for your general performance to build a skyscraper if you're making a gigantic base? Because when you're on the ground, all the objects on the top floors are so far up that it will mitigate the effect on your general performance.
Everything that's outside your field of view won't really require a lot of performance from your computer. And this also applies above. So everything you can see from the ground, at some point you can't see it up, high in the sky. So imagine building a skyscraper that's high enough that you get to a point where you can't see any further. And all your benches, your furnaces, all your thralls, everything you need to evolve in Conan Exiles, you put it up there, where you can't see it from the ground. Imagine how much performance you can gain by doing that.
A lot of those placeables and decorations won't even need to be generated. They will be too far away of your field of view. This leaves room to decorate and organize all of your bottom floors more extensively and put more animation and life into your main base. And when you're on the top floors, you get even more advantages. The world map is so far away that even that will require less performance from your computer. Of course, these results will vary from one player to another, as we don't all have the same rig or graphical settings. But anyone can benefit from this method to get better frame rates. And that's exactly what I'm demonstrating here. I'm using a Gen 2 i7 with a GTX 1080. A ton of mods using particle effects, lighting, decorations, thrall animations. All this is concentrated on and around the first floor of my main tower. But everything that's high above, all the furnaces, workbenches, crafting stations, all that is so far up that it doesn't affect that much. And when I'm in my factory on the top levels, performance isn't really affected by everything you just saw in the first floor. Funcom is coming down on players on official servers that have huge bases that cause performance issues. Building high and keeping your polygons far from view of others might be an efficient way to avoid the wrath of server admins. Just keep in mind that you're still demanding a lot of resources out of the server that's hosting your huge base. 3 of the towers you see on this video also exist on an official server. We left that server and rebuilt everything from scratch on a private server. On the official server, I had all the workbenches and stations under the entrance. Anyone approaching our base would start having serious performance issues, including abusive lag, stuttering, frame skips, and even crashes if their game rig was too old. After recreating these towers and adding a 4th one, your frame drops from 30 frames per second to about 23 frames per second on an i7 2700K 3.5 GHz from 2012 with 16 GB of DDR3 memory and a GTX 1080.
My frame rate isn't great, of course, because I do exaggerate even in decorations on the first floor, but it is a lot better than what I had on the official server. Thanks for watching, have a great day in the Exiled Lands, and see you on the next video. Bye!